What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Deluxe, and today we are here with another podcast, but today it's a little different because we do have a guest, and by popular demand, our guest is back once again. It is D1ofAquavibe. Say hi, D1. What's up, buddy?
What's up, guys?
And we also have D20 and Sidearms as well in here. What's up, boys?
What up?
And Shadow should be joining us. He does have a hockey game tonight that he is watching, and so he's going to be, in touch with that, especially if the Penguins lose, and he's going to be pretty pissed. It's a close game right now, so we'll see how that works out. But I do want to thank D1 for coming on. And yes, the podcast is one day late because we were going around D1's schedule. D1 was busy with prior engagement, so we basically want to do this a day later. So I do appreciate you, D1, for coming on today. Sure. Appreciate that anytime you can, man. If you guys didn't get a chance to listen to the last podcast D1 was on, we basically touched on some random topics, and we got his insight on some things, and we talked a little bit about music, but we barely touched on it. And today what I want to do is I basically want to give you guys an outline of who D1 is. Why is he our friend? Why do I even bring him on the podcast? What is so great about this guy? And I will start with kind of where my background with D1. So D1 is a guy that I got introduced to by Speedy. I think him and Speedy talked a little bit, and D1 made a song. I think it might have been. And he can correct me on this. What was the first thing you actually did for the crew? Was it a song for Speedy that he wanted done, or was it something that he asked for permission to use on a video? I can't remember.
So the way from the beginning, what actually happened was, I think I've said this before, but maybe just to you guys, I can't remember. But It all started with I was a fan of watching especially Call of Duty videos on YouTube, and I wound up kind of really going towards the funny ones. So I'd see Speedy's name came up a lot, so I would watch a lot of his videos, and then eventually through Speedy I started seeing Deluxe 4 videos. And what's funny is there was a certain span of time, maybe about a month or so, when I did I kind of thought this is when I was totally really unfamiliar. I couldn't tell the difference between D4 and Speedy.
Oh wow, with the southern drawl.
No, with all that, you think for people who know you guys, you can tell the difference immediately. But that's how new I was, and I wasn't sure. And sometimes when I would click on the video, I wasn't sure who video I was clicking on. I was just watching videos. But anyway, so I'm watching a lot of these videos and the trolling videos, and at that point it was Modern Warfare 2, and I would spend hours just watching these funny videos and stuff, and I wanted to almost kind of be part of it somehow, especially watching the crew videos, where it was a few you guys are there having fun and stuff, and it's so fun to watch. That's, I think, is part of the crew's charisma, is that it's a bunch of guys just joking, having fun together, and I think that's why a lot of people watch crew videos and got into the crew, because it's almost like you almost feel like you're part of the fun when you're watching the video. It's kind of infectious. So I would watch these different funny videos and stuff, and I noticed on the different, it was basically almost always, for the funny videos, there was almost basically 3 different songs. There was the la, 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 la,
yeah, the Troll Wall
that
song.
one.
I remember that one.
There's that. There's the yakety sax, the Benny Hill thing.
Benny Hill,
and then the Chacarone.
Yeah.
So it's basically those 3, or kind of not so good remixes of those 3. And I'm
right.
And so I'm a music guy watching this, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of wanted to be part of it somehow, just and I'm like, I set out on a goal to. I was like, you know what? I think I could. And at that time, I never made funny music. I never did. I just didn't. So I said, I want to set out my goal.
Weird thing to get into, by the way.
Totally,
weird,
and especially when I got into it, that's what I got popular. As popular as I was among a few people on the internet, that's what they knew me for, and it's so weird because it's that's what I'm known for. That's a fraction of what I do. It's kind of funny, but so I set out at the time. The Tra-La-La song was the number one, like a troll song, basically, or funny moments song. And what I did was I said, I want to replace that song. Like I set out to say, like, I wonder if I can. I'm gonna make a funny song, and if everything goes correctly, my goal will be basically to replace that song on all these funny gaming videos that people are using and stuff. And I made the first one was the Happy Troll, and I sent it to Speedy, among a couple other people, and I think he was the first or maybe only to respond. And yeah, I sent it to him and Straight Up Knives, and those were the two at the time that I was watching the most of. Speedy
They
responded.
were the biggest ones at the time too.
Yeah. And what's funny is, I think I said this before, but Straight Up Knives never responded. And then after my whole train started going, where Speedy's using my stuff and other people are using it, like months later, Straight Up Knives contacts me and requesting if he can use my song. So, which was kind of funny. I was like, dude, I messaged you like so long ago. I was giving it to you, but you never replied, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, Speedy was the one that got back to me and said, sure. And he says, put it up on YouTube. So, put it up on YouTube, or I think he said, and, so I, can, or I think that was it. And he said, put it up on YouTube as a video so I can, promote it. So I was like, oh, shoot. So I just threw the video together pretty quick. Did that. He started using it, blah, blah, blah. So that's how it started. This is really long-winded, and I'm sorry.
No, that's what it's for. Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Go, keep going.
Yeah. So that's what happened. Like, the goal was, I was watching you guys. I was loving it. I wanted to kind of be part of it. I saw that there was basically 2 or 3 songs being used all the time that were funny, but I was like, you know what, they're kind of being overused. And then my goal was like I said, try to replace that. And I basically, the Happy Troll, and then eventually the Party Troll and the Ninja Troll, which feature you guys, like Speedy videos and whatnot. But I think I pretty much got there. Felt pretty good about how, say, popular the Happy Troll and Party Troll got, especially when people are, all the time are contacting me. I get, messages about some like people, like a compilation video on Facebook that's coming from like Vietnam about people like falling down and stuff, and it has the Happy Troll on it. People saying, hey, yeah, they use, so it kind of went everywhere, which is cool. So that's how it started. That's the like I said, long-winded, but that's how it started. And then,
I got some things to add to all that stuff. So basically, if you want to go back with you talking about, you couldn't tell the difference between Speedy and I. Well, basically, when you first started watching our videos in the Modern Warfare 2 days, we didn't record our mics. So what you heard was everyone else and not Speedy. And so Speedy's videos at the very beginning were all us. There were never Speedy. And so, and that's the same thing for me. All of my videos were of Speedy. And what we did, I would upload maybe 2 times a week, but Speedy uploaded every other day, and it was really good edited content. Was the first guy to ever start putting in I think he got like a little, we all kind of started a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to take credit for any of this. I think it was definitely Speedy, but I started putting like text on screen, so what we were saying, and changing it to stuff that it really didn't say. So you might say, I love Biscuit, but I might say you're in love with a girl named Trisket. I don't know. I might say something different than what it was. And so he started adding text, he started adding sound effects, and then he started adding the funny music in the background. And you're exactly right. The 3 songs that were used were those 3, and then there was nothing else. And so there's 2 big players that come in later on. It's you started making all those songs, and then there was Kevin McLeod, or Kevin McLeod, or how you want to say it, and he started having the kind of the creepy songs where, not, I shouldn't say creepy, the I don't know how, what's the genre there? You know what I'm talking about, Sidearms, where it's like
the sneaky stuff?
Yeah, sneaky, not creepy. Yeah, sneaky stuff. So he started making all that stuff, and people started using that as well. But your song, I have heard on a billion videos. I'm talking from all across, like all platforms. I've heard it on videos that are supposed to be funny on Facebook. I've seen it on like magician videos. I've seen it like on funny videos. As far as funny moments in gaming, I've heard some of your songs on the craziest stuff, and I try to link them every once in a while to the crew and say, hey, do you hear D1's song on this thing? But it gets crazy for some of your songs that have come on. And then I've had people take your song from my video that have ripped it and still have our audio on there and put it on their video. Like, that's how crazy it is. People want your songs that bad. They have ripped it from our videos and put it on their videos. Right. And so it gets a little crazy. There's no telling how many people have actually ripped off your music and never like really asked for it when it comes to using it. And I know there's, daily people that do that as well. And I know you and we had some run-ins with GTA. I was posting some of your songs on GTA, and at the time you had a company running kind of your copyright stuff, and we kept that was a bunch of hang-ups during that time. And so we had a lot of those problems as well. So that was a time on YouTube where the whole music thing was a little crazy. And I don't know, it was like everybody was asking you for permission. You had to put people on a list that could use it, and then that list didn't work, and it was just a big old mess. Yeah, it
was, and it was a lot of upkeep. So the process was very flawed and stuff. And it's actually still the same company and stuff is doing it. It's just they kind of changed some things, so I guess it's not as stringent, but at the same time, it's also that works not in my favor actually. But it's better in the sense that when I have friends who are using it, like you guys, you guys don't get screwed or as easily. So I guess that's the good side.
Yeah,
that's the good part of it. Yeah,
for sure. For everyone that don't know, kind of how did you start in with like music? Where did it begin, and where is it like now? Can you give me like a timeline of like how everything kind of started with all that stuff, like from music alone?
This one time at band camp.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
Never went to band camp. Okay, I'll try to make this compact or so it's not so long. But started. When I was a kid, I got one of those like little Casio keyboards or whatever. Made it, fiddled around with it. Basically, I wound up eventually starting to learn guitar. Learned it by ear. Basically, everything is by ear. Where I'm just now, after all this time, I'm finally now. See, here's the funny thing, and I say this like proudly. I don't, but also like I don't want to be like puffing my chest out. But I remember in grade school, I was starting to play guitar, and there was another guy playing guitar, and he was really competitive. And he didn't like the idea that I also played guitar. So he's like, well, what are you, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing this. And he's like, where do you take lessons? And I was like, oh, I don't, I learn by ear. And I think it was a combination of maybe being that he didn't learn by ear, that he had to learn by lessons. He was just like, you don't learn by lessons? I was like, no. And he says, well, so you don't read music? I was like, no, I don't read music. He's like, well, then you're not going to go anywhere. So you're just fooling yourself.
When was this?
I was like in grade school. But here's the good thing. So that guy probably within a couple of years stopped playing guitar, never went back, I assume. And I've had my music in movies, on TV commercials, and I still can barely read music. How about that? So like that, I only say that because that's one of those things where like that always stuck with me. People put me down saying, "Oh, well, you're not going to go anywhere. Then you can't be taken seriously." So I'm just now. I'm actually sitting here in the studio with a music theory book in front of me because I'm trying to finally learn to read music so that I can actually teach. Because a lot of people are asking me, "Could you teach?" I would love to take lessons, and I always feel kind of bad because I kind of hopscotched over the first year of learning music, where you learn how to read music and all the basic stuff. Mm-hmm. So like I could teach you everything except that, but so that's where I'm at now. But the point is, I kind of jumped over that, did everything by ear, started with guitar, went crazy with guitar stuff, and then eventually got into drums, moved over to along the way I went to steel guitar, stand-up bass, some keyboards, some flute, a little bit of saxophone at one point, until it got destroyed in a flood. So that was that, and it's DJing, singing, everything. I've done just about a lot of stuff. So I went from there. Was never into the computer stuff or whatever. I eventually got into it, some hardware stuff, not computers. Like a sampling where you can kind of record audio and do some stuff with it, but then eventually went to computer stuff. Started recording my own stuff, got into kind of more dancey type music stuff because I had previously been doing rock stuff with guitar and whatnot, and then eventually kind of led. No, that's right. Eventually kind of led into eventually kind of led where we were starting to talk about before, where I was like watching the internet stuff, and I said, let me try this funny music. Started that, you know where that went. I did that stuff, and in the process of doing that, making the funny stuff. So yeah, now I'm back up to where I was before, so I can lead from here. Did the funny stuff, started getting a lot of attention from, you know, Crew and Speedy fans and stuff, liking the music I did and stuff, which was cool. That for the Party Troll and then the Ninja Troll videos, especially Ninja Troll, I did like exclusively Speedy content for the video, and I chopped it up in a funny way where that was like probably one of the well, those two videos was the first time I tried video editing, where like you'd actually do it to the beat and make it interesting, not just like intelligent editing where it's like it looks like it's going to the beat and stuff like that, because that was all new to me. I had no idea how to do it. Again,
that's what I'm very impressed with that, by the way. Sorry I'm interrupting, but
no, okay.
Your editing skills are better than all of us, pretty much. You do a good job. Like when you say you're going to go in, you do a song, and you're like, hey, I'm about to make this video. I am very impressed with how much you do with the video. As an editor myself, I know how much time it takes. And then syncing it up to music and adding the text and everything, making sure it looks good, and the transitions, and going back and finding every single video. I don't know if you guys know that he does this. He goes back and he'll like message us on Skype or on Twitter and say, hey, do you remember this part of the song where you yelled "go fuck yourself"? Do you remember that? I'm like, I say that every day. I don't know where that's at. Like, and he's like, yeah, it was. I know it was a CS:GO game, and you were in the bottom of the leaderboard. I'm like, dude, like you got to give me better stuff than that. But
yeah, a little more.
He basically finds it, and he's like, oh, I found it, and he like puts it in the video in a clip, but also adds like funny meme type stuff involved with it, and overlays and things like that. What do you use to edit, by the way? I meant to always ask you that.
The first few videos, I'm on Mac, so like that.
Oh, okay. You're that guy. Okay.
I'm that guy. I can't use Sony Vegas, which I think a lot of people use because it's just not on Mac.
Right.
So my first few videos was just iMovie, which is like the basic, like it comes with a Mac. And then eventually I upgraded to Final Cut Pro X, which is like a glorified iMovie. It's kind of like something like Vegas. It's around that level, I think. It's not high end like Premiere or whatnot like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I use. I use, of course, all the audio programs and stuff to do all the audio stuff, and then once it's done, all the video stuff is done in Final Cut Pro X.
Here's the thing too with your editing, which blows my mind. If you haven't watched one of his videos on some of our songs, you definitely got to do that. But when you go in, you look at a video. So like, let's take a 5-second clip. You take a 5-second clip, and you see he has the screen cut up in like 8 different sections. There is just for a small part, he has where he's playing the drums for it, where he's playing the guitar for it, where he's on the keyboard, where he's on whatever else he might be on, but he has every single one synced up exactly to where it is on the song. That takes so much time. You don't understand how crazy that is, that he would record that and then go back and sync it, and then put it where it needs to be and make it look good, then have an overlay of the memes, and then text on screen of us yelling and who is actually saying who is doing that. That's ridiculous, to be honest. Like, for somebody that's never even tried to edit that much, that's stupid. Like, seriously, that's dumb. Like, I can't imagine if you tried to edit all the time what it would be like. You would have some of the craziest fucking content. Most people, when they do music, especially on YouTube, they're trying to make the quick buck. They sample somebody's beat, they throw on somebody's lyrics from another song, or stretch and skew it in some way, then throw on one of those automated beat syncers that basically just go with the beat, and they have their logo in the middle, and that's it. And then they make thousands of dollars off of that they stole from somebody on something to make it work where it wouldn't show up on copyright. So with you do all the video, you do all the stuff from like sounds that we make. We might say "st," and he might make a whole sound over. Like we did that freaking, what was that, Moonbase Alpha sidearms with D20. Yeah. We made that. We did one video. He made a whole song about the "Oh baby, oh baby," like over something stupid. We just giggling and laughing over a stupid game, and it turned out to be amazing. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" That's probably one of my favorite songs. I know Side plays it all the time, but it's probably
every day.
Yeah, exactly. But the dumbest stuff he makes music out of, and I know he doesn't have to, but he does. He makes where we say stuff. So G18 might have where he said, "Good Lord Jesus" or something. I don't know what he says, but he might take that and he'll stretch it so much where he'll make a beat out of it, and so that's pretty cool too. I like your whole setup with that, like how you even know the notes in your head, like this is high, this is low, and everything that goes in between. So I admire you every time you put out a video. I don't know if anybody else notices what you do, but that's just crazy.
Well, I appreciate all that. Thank you. The good thing is, when I do these, they do get like super complimentary like comments and stuff. People like this. I get some of the nicest comments probably on YouTube, but there's a lot of horrible comments out there. People, because most of them are like crew fans or whatnot, or they just come over on like a recommended video and they're like, wow. So they really, the cool thing is all that stupid amount of work does have a payoff, which is like the product, and people do see it and appreciate it, and they're usually pretty happy or impressed with it and stuff, which is great. So that always feels good. It helps me like keep going and making more and stuff. But like in the process of that's how it started. Like so I kind of, what do you call that, segued over from just making funny music for you guys to use into crew remixes where it's your guys' voices and stuff. And what happened was the evolution of that was, making the funny songs. Speedy uses them in the video, and that. And then the next time, the Happy Troll was just like I grabbed pieces of video that were already on YouTube with like the stupid troll face dancing and whatnot. That was the video for that. So that was totally uncreative. But I had no idea what I was doing. I just had to throw it together. So, but the next thing was Party Troll and the Ninja Troll, where I used the gameplay footage and put it to the beat, so it looks funny and whatnot. And so from that went over so well. The next thing, hang on, this is how it started. That's right. I just remembered. So I was doing those remixes, and I remixed somebody else or whatever, and then I did a remix of Mr. Technical Difficult, Kyle.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, he's a good friend of ours.
Mm-hmm. I did a remix of him, which was only like a 2-minute remix of his funny stuff, and Speedy contacted me. It was funny because this is like one of the only times I've heard Speedy in this sort of tone. He was like, D1, I saw that video, it's awesome, but I'm kind of jealous. Like is there any way you could do that type of stuff with us? That was so funny. So I was like, yeah, of course. So that's how that started. And then what happened was, so the beginning of it was like the first two crew remixes was In a World of Derp and the Crew Mix 2. Those literally took months.
Oh, I know.
Like, months. They took years off my life, I think, in the long run. But
and then you have instrumentals to all those things too, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. So what most of that stuff was, those two remixes were specifically like where I grabbed, like I went through dozens and dozens and dozens of like shit from last week videos and all your guys' stuff, trying to like, pull together all the best quotes and the funniest this and that. Yeah. And then put them together, have the music and then put them together over the music, basically making them lyrics to the song, where everything has to be edited and squished or stretched or pulled or chopped or doubled so that it sounds like you guys are basically rapping to the beat, because they were, it's just random vocal phrases like, whatever you guys are saying, and then to make it fall perfectly on the beat is a shitload of editing to do that. And then the other thing is too, how do you not just throw all these, I can say I got all you guys like, a bunch of funny quotes. How do you put it onto a beat? Not just make it in time with the beat, but like, what is the sequence? Like, what line goes before what line? And like, that was a whole fun but extremely meticulous puzzle of like putting together like all the lines so that it sounds like a song. And like a lot of people wind up memorizing a lot of the words, and it's it sounds good. So I went from that for the first two crew remixes there to the stuff that I'm doing now, which I call the crew mixtape, which the difference between the crew mixtape stuff, which is what I'm working on now, where I think we're like 4 songs in now, as opposed to the big crew remixes, is remixes were basically a best of funny moments, put the video and audio put to the beat, so like that. This other one, the Crew mixtape, is basically taking. So I'm sorry, and those remixes were mostly funny, very funny, and kind of cool too. Whereas the Crew mixtape is the opposite. It's kind of more cool, where I'm actually using your guys' voices, chopping them up, not necessarily a lot of long phrases and stuff, but chopping them up and using them like instruments to make cool beats that are also kind of funny. So it's like more cool than funny, the mixtape stuff, and it also, from a editing standpoint. Here's a funny thing. I started this whole series thinking, "Oh, this will be pretty easy." It's just like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not as much editing as the big remixes. And then what happens is the natural progression that happens while I'm doing these things. If you watch, say, the one I did, maybe the first thing I did, which wasn't technically part of the mixtape, was the Speedy one, the Collaterals and Golden Animals.
Mm-hmm.
That was
love these songs, by the way, the titles.
Yeah. If you watch the difference between that and like the stuff, say, just up until now, the progression is, what happens is I put out these videos and I'm like, oh, it's good, I like it, and then people give great response, and then when I go to the next one, it's got to be minimally as good as the last one, but the natural progression is you try to make it better, and that's what winds up happening. Better means more editing, more time, so that's what's been going on. So like, yeah, the mixtape is taking your guys' voices, chopping up pieces. For you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, whose voice is like? Okay, I don't know how to phrase this. Hold on. I got this.
I'll help you. I think I know where you're going.
Okay. Who's like the hardest to get voice samples for? Like, whose videos are the worst when it comes to trying to? I have a feeling it's mine.
So I've gotten this question a bunch of times before. Like, who's the easiest to remix? People usually say. So I would say this: there is an easiest and hardest to remix. This has no relation to who's the coolest guy or who I like the most. That has nothing. Okay. It's just a matter of. So the easiest for me to remix is D4 is probably number one for me. D4 is just.
I know that's coolest.
Yeah, exactly.
It's obvious because he's your favorite.
Because D4 is like, just from my perspective, is like from a technical perspective, right? Mm-hmm. Like looking in at you guys and listening to everyone. D4 is probably the most, because D4 a lot of times is, he's very animated, as opposed to say like, Side. Usually when you speak, it's fairly monotone, but then you'll have, but you'll have explosive moments where you'll yell or you giggle, which makes it really easy too. That stuff is very easy, so that's easy. The hardest, but. Jehovah's pretty easy too because he yells a lot and whatnot. Speedy is usually the hardest for me. He's one of the hardest. Speedy, and it's usually like a Speedy, Shadow, and D20 are generally the hardest because either they're kind of the most quiet or monotone, or like they speak the least. Like D20 barely, it's just he'll come in with like a couple words here and there, so it's hard to grab. And usually it's at a fairly low volume. So if you, what was that one? The song Dict. I took the D20 that I, quote that I took was him saying, Speedy was mentioning that, he said, Speedy was saying like, what do you have, your mic, this noise on your mic?
Yeah. And
D20 said, oh, it's my fan. Do you, you want me to turn it off or turn it up or something like that? And I just grabbed that, turn it up. And that became just that, turn it up, up, that's towards the end of the song there. So just grabbing that. There wasn't, so like I said, generally, I would say Speedy. Speedy has his like, I call him cocaine yells.
Yes.
Like he goes, it sounds absolutely crazy. Like it sounds like so, but outside of that, he's usually pretty like, Speedy has a very almost very proper sounding voice. He's very, and everything's kind of usually sounds like this. It's always usually on the same pitch around this level, and it's very clear. And
so, you're right.
Yeah,
it's true though.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Right. So you have that, like I said, and D4 is usually like he's always like doing crazy shit. So that's like for me that makes it so easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have you'll be monotone, like kind of like this all the time, and then you'll have your funny moments. You kind of go up like that. And but that stuff, that's usually the pieces that I grab.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's just a good 2 or 3 words that sound cool together. Like turn it up, like that was good enough.
Whose like videos are the worst when it comes to getting voice samples? Does that make sense? Like,
Well,
as far as like background music and stuff. That's what I wanted to ask you in the first place. So I
Oh.
guess I just didn't word it correctly. But I'm glad you answered the other stuff because that's gonna be.
That's
my
where I thought
questions
you were
later.
going with that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. As far what I generally do is, this is when I'm going for you guys stuff. I would say 80% of what I get is from shit from last week.
Yeah.
Because it's
Okay.
basically a sum up. It's perfect because my job is already hard enough that I need to. I need
Yeah.
a place where like there's some of the best moments already. It's not always that though. What did I do? Well, and a lot of times there's a lot of background music. The cool thing is,
All yours. It's
yeah, right. It's I'm like, you know,
Heard this somewhere.
effing friggin' what's that one? Goddamn Bubble Guts is ruining the damn take here. And like
Bubble Guts.
that's one of my songs. And like yeah, and I'm getting annoyed at my own music. So but this last one, I think it was shit from last week, 114, I think it was.
Yeah.
The benefits of knowing you guys is it came out and like the next day I listened to it and I wanted to grab a couple things from it, and I was like, the music was just killing me. It's like so I said and so I just messaged Joel and I said, hey Joel, would you happen to have it? Could I get it without the music? And he's like, yeah. And so he sent it over. Yes.
Yeah, like if you ever
So
need
much
a
easier.
clip of something, like, and there's something that's like music or something like that, like
we have it saved for a while.
I
Yeah,
keep
we
mine
usually
for
keep it
about
for a
3 or
while.
4 months. Yeah. Where,
Okay.
where I can edit it out later. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I'll let you if I run into that. But the problem is, a lot of times what happens with me is this is why I'll ask you guys. These things take so long that I'll say that's right. Like D4, the main thing from the song "Dicks" was you making that kind of like I called the adrenaline yodel.
Oh, I know.
Whatever.
I don't even know where that
You can't even replicate it. That's what's
I
funny.
know.
about it.
It's crazy.
The funny thing about it, that took so long that was like, I think it was like May or so when I was putting that video out, and I asked you, do you remember where that was
I
from?
know.
And it was from like last October or something. It was so long at that point that by the time I come back to you guys, it's been so long that
Right.
you're like, I don't know, dude. We have like thousands of hours. Like I don't know, so. But usually when I ask you guys, I'm not like, like you should know. I'm usually like, you're not gonna know. You're gonna know. And this is a total shot in the dark. But by any chance, would you know? Like that. So
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. You know what I like about this the most, and it has a lot to do with you, but it's time capsules for me and my friends, and to go back and to shit from last week. I watched episodes like, let's say, like 7 and 25 and 42. I don't remember 99% of that shit that happened. I remember highlights from it, but I don't remember saying half the stuff. We go back, we're like, I don't remember saying that, man. And go back to an old Speedy video, like what? That isn't even me. Like I don't even know that we ever said that. And so with you with the remix, it's so cool to have a song that you're in. That was always something that we always, as a personal thing for me, I always wanted to be in a song or something to do with it or whatever. But I think it's so cool. Those are like time capsules that I think we look back 20 years from now and we're gonna go, that was pretty cool. That was fucking cool. And what you're doing with all the the mixtape now is awesome. And I don't know if this is a thing, but call me out if I'm wrong, but it seems like everybody almost has their own song. So where Sidearms is like Where the Fuck I Am, and then Dick is Speedy, and then mine is the No Money Anthem or something like that. Like we seem to all kind of have a song so far. I'm not saying it's ever going to be everybody has their own song, but so far it's been themed towards somebody. So that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I would say generally, if I can, even though it's difficult, I try to include everyone in every song. But then things happen where all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is heavily Speedy or this is heavily so and so, and it just becomes that. And I would like to, in the end, where everybody has their own song, like the last Somewhere Over the Rainbow was all Jehovah.
Right.
That just kind of happened, and I thought the Crew mixtape was going to be just all songs where it included everybody on every one, but that just kind of rolled out and happened. I was like, no, this is going on the mixtape. I mean, it is what it is. Whatever. There's no rules here. And like someone even said, I think mentioned that on the No Money Anthem video. I think one of the comments said like, "Duh, this isn't a mixtape. This is D4 or something like that." And I was like, what? Who's here to say what rules there are? Like,
right?
This is all crew related. Like, what are you talking about? So yeah. So but in the end, I would like to have where everybody has their own song. Now, of course, probably one of the most difficult would probably, I'm guessing, might be a D20 song, but it will happen.
He does have some good.
You want me to just sing for a couple hours?
There you go. We'll be done.
Just call me up, man.
Yeah, but yeah, in the long run,
requests.
hopefully everyone will have their own. So.
Hey, I will tell you this: if you're looking for content, and I'm not saying you ever have to, but these new Friday the 13th videos are fucking gold. Like, because there's a lot of people doing stuff they normally wouldn't do and talking situations that they normally wouldn't have. The only thing is damn music in the background. There's automatic music in the background for most parts. For most parts, yeah.
Now that the good thing is with I just I was cracking up the other day at the video with D4. You came into the stream when I was editing it, where they left you, and then you left Joel, and you got pissed off. And he's calling out everybody. He's like, "Fuck you, Silas! Fuck you!" Like, it was hilarious. I was laughing at that. But the music in the background doesn't always. It doesn't always kill what I'm doing. Like there's a lot of stuff where like for example, like it's not just the music. It'll be like game noise or even like the sidearms loud ass keyboard.
Oh
like,
wow, man! It's not me anymore. That's
it's not. It used to, but like in the Oh Baby song, your keyboard is actually in. I forget now the phrase of it. It's one of the
more songs than you said.
Your keyboard is in there because you started typing right at the end of one of the phrases I sampled, so you can actually hear it in the song. I can't remember at this moment, but yeah, I could point it out if
I'm sorry, man.
No, but the thing is, like I said, like it's not the sounds in the background don't always kill. They just sometimes they kind of blend in, you don't even notice, or sometimes it can even add. There's been times where someone will say something like, it was I think a Hova sample or something. Just recently I was doing it where someone said, "Oh," or something, and just as they said that, there was like, a game sound, and actually the two combined, the two sounds together became kind of like this hybrid sound, which sounded really cool. So, sometimes that happens too.
So do you have more trouble like trying to get like game sounds and game music out of a sample, or do you have more trouble with us talking over each other?
Usually probably the talking over each other. But the thing is, though, like, that's just the nature of it. Like, if you guys didn't talk over each other, your videos would suck. Like, that's just the whole crux of your videos is the fact that you guys are just having free, like, conversations. That's why I
didn't talk for the first 5 years.
No, he seriously didn't hear. I go, dude, why don't you talk more tonight? He's like, dude, everyone else was talking the whole time. I didn't have a chance to even get my word in. And then when it's him and I, he's, it's a two-way conversation. So I say something, he says something. And so I'm like, D20 is the funniest motherfucker out of everybody, but he doesn't get a chance to talk because I'm very loud, very forceful. And I feel like Sidearms wasn't, but now has forced his way kind of in where he gets his words in now, where he used to not. And so, like, when I'm editing, I get pissed at Sidearms all the time. He'll fucking cut me off or cut someone off there saying something hilarious. I'm like, damn it, Sidearms, you're fucking laughing, asking questions. They're random ass shit. They're like, oh, would you smash or no? Or are you saying something stupid? I'm like, Jesus fuck, man, stop already.
I can concur. Usually, so many Sidearms laughs have ruined takes, but
what?
It is what it is. Like, it's
I'll
all
just
good.
Stop laughing, guys.
No. Do not do that.
He's also made a bunch of videos
Just
for us.
filling
So
up
no worries.
space.
It was actually just on the newest one I'm actually working on now. It's actually speedy heavy so far. Just that's how it's been. But like I think a few of you guys in it so far. But there was one of the takes had a sidearm. Speedy said something, and sidearm said, "Oh!" Like right at the end. And it just wrecked. It wrecked the last word of the phrase.
That sounds just like him. Oh shit.
Yeah. So I couldn't use it.
Someone's gonna ask D1, which one's your favorite song you made?
Yeah, for
about
sure.
us so far?
That's a good one.
Well, let me answer the reverse. Out of all the songs, okay, I just want to answer this because it's on the tip of my tongue.
Okay.
And not the crew stuff, but all the music I've made. I could tell you this. And it's been like a thorn in my side. The song I like the least, I don't like. I'm just like, ugh, except for one part, pretty much. And sorry, it was one of your favorites for a while. There is Monkey Biz.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like that one, dude. I like that one.
It's okay. Like it's okay.
It's okay.
Like
okay.
the chorus part, bam, bam, bam. I don't like it. I don't know. It's okay, like to me, but it kind of gets irritating. Whereas the verse part, I think is cool. Has like a cool. That's the other part. Like I can't remember offhand, but that's my least favorite. I'm not saying I hate it because I made it. So I would never make a song and dislike it so much that I wouldn't, like, if I disliked it enough, I'd just never release it. So I did like it enough, but as time has gone on, I've liked it less, I should say.
My new favorite song from you is that La La So What. It's kind of old, but
Wow, okay. That's kind of cool because that's probably one of like the weakest songs, I think.
like weakest in terms of like recognition.
Weakest, recognition, but also it's slower than most of the other ones. So it's almost less energetic, but to me, I think there's good melodies in it. I thought it was cool, but I just felt like even when I put it out, I said, I have a feeling this one's probably going to be not as popular as the other ones. It's just got not as much, it's not as fast. So the energy's a little bit lower and it's not as in your face, but I liked it. I like the melodies in it and stuff. So I always love to hear actually when people say, oh, such and such is my favorite, whether it's the crew remixes or whether it's just the songs, because I like to hear the variety. Sometimes I'm like, oh, wow, they like that one the best? Okay, cool. That's good. I mean, because I get points either way in the sense, because I made them. So that's cool. But but as a favorite with the, I'm really fond of Dict.
Yeah.
Fuck. I was really hoping you'd say where the fuck I am.
No, you know what's funny?
Good except for the lead guy.
Yeah, the lead guy. That was.
Joel, yeah.
I think a lot of people like that the best. Where the fuck I am. I get a lot of comments like that. So that was kind of like the standard. People usually measure. A lot of people measure like each new one I put out versus like where the fuck I am. I've heard them do that a lot, which is fine with me. That's cool. That was my favorite for a while because I think that was the first one. That was like, I kind of went for my own self. Like I kind of went to a next, for my like I'm not. This sounds bloated headed, but I don't mean it like this. But I went to kind of a next level with that song, as far as how cool I can make voices sound. I was really happy about that. So I like that kind of for me went to a new level, which was awesome. So I was really proud of that. I guess I don't call that out first just because that was a little while ago. So I've done a bunch since, but presently too, No Money Anthem I like a lot. Yeah, a lot of good energy in that song too. But
yeah, that's probably one of my favorite. Before that, it was probably the Oh Baby. I liked that one.
Yeah.
But as far as like the instrumental ones, I like the what was it, Red Light, Green Light.
I like that too. Yeah, that was one of my favorites
ones.
too. Yeah, we're on the same page with that. That was one of my favorites. I like that one the best, or just about the best. Yeah, but I like them all. Like especially the crew remixes. I like all of them. I really do. I'm really happy with all of them. Especially I'll forget and like I just happen to say I'll follow YouTube and it'll say like you have a comment on a video, so I'll click on it and it'll go back to like a video from a few videos back that I kind of almost forgot about. I'll click to see the comment and then the video will play and I'll be like, oh yeah, this was cool. Yeah, I like this. So yeah, but I do love them all. It's definitely, especially because
Do you love them as much as the Phase remix?
Oh, that was fun. See, but the thing is with that, like that was the whole. I mean, not to go into, but like that was cool because somebody just randomly pointed out on Twitter, like, oh, they talked about you yesterday in a video. It was a vlog. I pressed on it, and they're talking about my music. I was like, geez. I remember them asking if they could use it a ways back, but then they're talking about it like really fondly, like they like just listening to it. I was like, oh wow. So then I just threw in one day. That was the fastest remix I've ever done. I did. D4, you were talking before about how long the editing and stuff takes. I did the music and the video in 24 hours.
Oh, I've seen you do stuff on stream, man. I've seen you kill stuff. Like people give you samples of what they want you to do, and you've done a song on stream. But for a official song like that, that's nuts. That's nutty.
But so that, yeah, I won't go into details, but it kind of like, I followed up with the because that was just like a minute long. I followed up with the full length version of it, but the one guy I was talking with over at the phase there just stopped responding, and it was supposed to be where they were gonna like, yeah, well, promoter will put it out, and they just like never even acknowledged it. I don't know if like, I don't know what happened. I could just guess, but it was very odd how all of a sudden everything just stopped. I was just like, that's weird. Okay, so that was probably one of the worst tastes in my mouth I've had in a while. So but as far as the music, love it. But the video, yeah, I kind of like just put it off to the side. So I'm much more attached to the crew ones, of course, definitely.
Well, I think Sidearms wanted to ask, and I'm going to go ahead and ask for him. Mm-hmm. He was wondering when you're going to do a Caillou remix.
A what?
You know who Caillou is? Is it like a cartoon?
It's like a kid's cartoon. It's one of his favorite songs.
There's a rap to this Caillou. It's like the theme song for the cartoon. Anyways, it goes in and then it hits this beat, and it's pretty cool. But we fuck up the lyrics on purpose, and we say the most random shit on it. And so he's always asking Shadow if he's going to remix such and such all the time. So he's, when are you going to remix Katy Perry's Firework? When are you going to remix Caillou? When are you going to remix Dora the Explorer? And all that stuff. So he's always on Shadow. So D20's throwing it at you now.
Yeah, speaking of Shadow, because he says this a lot, like he starts music and then never finishes it or doesn't like it after he starts it. Do you ever have that where you'll start something and like get halfway through it and be like, I just completely don't like this at all, and then just trash the whole thing?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, so if you watch my streams, a lot of times I'll create music on stream, and this has been going on for a few years now, actually. And it just, not necessarily. I'll definitely hit things where I just don't like it and just say, oh, screw this, this sucks. And like you get into it, a few hours in. But the stuff on stream, I'll start stuff on stream just to work on stream, just to have something going while people are watching, and then the stream ends, or maybe I work on it the next stream, or a couple times, and then it just gets passed, and then the next stream later I'll start something new. So I have like a ridiculous amount of started stuff that was never finished. Sometimes just because of attention deficit disorder, or because I'm not happy with it, or it's like it's all right, whatever. But yeah, for me, one of the hardest things is, well, for me, I used to say one of the hardest thing for me to do is actually finish completely a song, like finish it, done. But now, for me, the hardest thing in the world is finishing a song and then creating a damn video to go with it and finishing that. Oh my God. Yeah, so, but it is difficult. It's very, very difficult. I probably complete 2%, I don't know, maybe 2% of things I start.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shadow has he showed us one day, and he actually sent it to us. He was like, if you want them, fuck it, you can have them. And so it was like, how many guys? Like 500 songs?
This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
He has like a huge library.
And we were going through, and we're like, these are pretty good. What happened to this one? He's like, I remember that one. I got to that build up, and I said, fuck it, I'm done starting over. So we were like, dude, can we use this? He's like, no, fucking don't use that. It's horrible. And we're like, all right, man. He's like, if you use that, I swear to God, I'm not your friend anymore. I'm fucking deleting you or something. And we're like, all right, dude, calm down. And he was like, but he showed us that folder that he had. It was like 500 fucking songs. We're like, Jesus Christ, Shadow. Like, these are better than your real songs. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I have hard drives. I have a few hard drives, yeah. So it's tough, but that's just part of the process, I think. I don't think it's uncommon for people who make music to have that type of stuff going on. But it's very tough to finish.
Where do you come up with the names of your songs? Because I know you have some odd names to a lot of your songs.
I think every good artist does too.
You're talking about the Crew remix ones?
Just any of them.
Yeah.
In general. Okay. So I'll say
Battlefield Montage. Where did that come? No.
Yeah, it took me a while. So, yeah. But what was I going to say? Yeah. Generally, I'll stick to the Crew remixes for now. So the first one was called Voices in the Rabbit Hole. So what that is, that was the first song of the Crew mixtape. So the point of that title was I was introducing the mixtape or the album in a sense where I take like your guys' voices and when you listen to this stuff, like, and I'm not saying because I did it, I'm just saying the like, let me just precursor this by saying the stuff I do, like with remixing voices and stuff, I friggin' love it. And I'm amazed by it. Like, not that like, oh, you're amazing, D1. I don't mean like that. I'm saying like the ability to what technology allows someone like me to do now, like who's a music guy, to be able to do this stuff is just, I can't believe I'm making songs where everything except the drums is your guys' voices, and the thing sounds like something you'd hear in a club. Like that's nuts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm saying that not to pat myself on the back. I'm just saying like, well, yeah, of course I'm definitely part of that, but just the ability to do this stuff. So, the Voices in the Rabbit Hole title came because I'm sitting there saying like, this is nuts. Like, I can just take silly, goofy things and make some trippy ass, deep sounding song out of this. So like the point of that is like basically as if this album, this mixtape is as if you're looking down the, like if you could, the rabbit hole, you know, not a rabbit hole, the rabbit hole, you know, as the what it means basically, looking like down the rabbit hole, and these are the voices that would come out of it basically. This trippy, crazy shit where it's just like, Jesus Christ, you know, the word you know, you guys heard the phrase "the rabbit hole" before, right?
Right, like Alice in Wonderland kind of stuff.
Right. It's like going down to like the other realm sort of thing or whatever it is. Like that's how I see it. And like that's how I saw this, where like, you know, the crew is just goofy, funny guys making these videos. You guys are clowns, this and that. It's funny stuff and everyone's laughing. But then like what I did, you take it and make it, it's not even like it's really like a different thing. It's cool and it's twisted and it's warped, but freaking like trippy and like, what am I? Oh my God, this is these are their voices. So that's basically like I was saying, the voices in the rabbit holes, as if you're kind of like looking down the rabbit hole, and if you can hear the voices from this other dimension, that's what it would sound like if the crew was on the other side of the rabbit hole, type of thing. Blah blah blah. So that's what that was. Dick was pretty easy to name. Somewhere Hova the Rainbow, that was, well, Hova. He was, the whole gist of that was Hova, you know, who's normally this, you know, loud, ballsy, tough guy type, is always like, you know, shut the fuck up, you know, strong-willed and stuff, where he's scared like a little girl. And like the funny thing is, he actually said the most telling quote in that video is his little, when he first got freaked out, screamed out of control, and then literally said to Speedy, probably didn't even realize maybe that he said it, is right at the end of all the screaming is, "Make it stop." Like that's something a little kid says. Like to me, that's magic. Like, oh my God, he's that scared. Make it stop. You know, that's something a child says to a parent. You know, like that's crazy. So I'm like, he was so literally scared. I've never seen Hova scared like a little girl like that. And it was like, wow, this is different. So the whole thought of it was like, all right, like, relax, Hova. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Like almost like trying to like soothe this little kid who's scared shit. And it's like, just think of Somewhere Over the Rainbow type of thing, and then put his name in there. That's where that came from. Right. No Money Anthem came from, that was easy because D4 is saying, "Bitch, I got no money. Hey." And then it's going in the song, it's going over and over again. So that's, you know, it became like an anthem, and the beat is like a club anthem. So like, I'm like, yeah, that was easy enough. Matt, if you remember D4, I was Skyping you about what should I call it. I was gonna call it "Bitch, I Ain't Got No Money." Like,
I know, but I think
word.
that
Like,
you two would have got you on that one, brother.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I would have ad revenued your asshole on that one.
Yeah. So yeah, but so that was that. But as far as
got their titties out your face.
Yeah, exactly.
Face.
Oh, and speaking of which, to sidebar for a second, when you guys were saying, when you guys were talking before about, you know, when I'm asking you about something, or D4, you're saying when you're watching shit from last week, from like a long time ago, you're like, I don't even remember saying this stuff. Just recently, when I, from No Money Anthem, a lot of times I'll also call you, text you guys and ask you, when you said that, like say this phrase I'm using of yours, like what did you mean by that? Sometimes if it's kind of, I'm not sure what you mean. And I had texted the Hova about, what do you mean by, I like my titties with some cream. If you ain't got cream, get your titties out my face. And his response is, I said that? So I'm like, that's the thing. Like, you guys record so much. Like, almost half of your life is being recorded.
It's
so
crazy. Yeah. It's good though. I enjoy it. Like, that's the biggest thing I enjoy. I think a lot of YouTubers, and I'll start off from this little tangent right now. First of all, you don't get enough views or that you need all the praise, all the people. I want to get you to 100,000 subscribers, so you're so close. You're at 88K. So if you're listening to this, definitely go subscribe to D1 and share the love. But besides that, like, it's with YouTube and the way it's so saturated now. Like, your videos are so good, you put so much time in it, and some jackwagon uploads something that takes no effort and gets a ton of views just because the thumbnail's great. It's very baiting, and then the title's very baiting, and then the dislike to like ratio is off the charts when dislikes are like 100 to 1. And so it pisses me off that a person like that can make more money than someone like you that puts so much effort into it. And I think as a crew, we have stepped up our game in the last, I think, year and a half when it comes to putting out content. But there's so much content that goes around between all of us that it is hard for somebody that's just a crew fan to watch all of our videos in one day, because there's not enough time in a day. But I hate it when I look around the landscape of YouTube and I see there's not a lot of quality anymore. There's a lot of quantity, and there's not a lot of quality, and so that kind of pisses me off more than anything. But I don't know, man. It just, for the most part, I don't think you get enough credit where credit's due, and all that. But
Preach.
Yeah,
Preach.
You're very amazing, and I appreciate you doing that. But the time capsules that you're creating for us, and the time capsules that we create on a daily basis for making videos, and the shit from last week, I think is what we're gonna all go back to and watch and say, oh, that was funny. But some of our own individual videos, and I think even YouTubers, when they do that, they go back to their first videos. Like Sidearms could tell you what happened to all my videos, my beginning videos, but. I think when we go back, I think we're gonna be, very like. I don't know, say, hey, man, that was a good time. I remember that.
Sure.
And where we started with YouTube and where we are now, there's such a big span in between. And Sidearms and I, probably out of everybody in the crew, talk about this, but we're like, man, we've talked to each other for the last 7 years every single day. I've talked to him more than I've talked to any family member that I have. And that we have this connection and friendship that no one else has, between him and his family, or him and his other friends, and same here, which is a good dynamic though. Also, as I have D20 with him that I get to see in real life, and we get to talk about things that's going on in our personal lives and also on YouTube. So he's the guy that I share all my secrets with, that knows everything about me when it comes to inside and outside, and that's a cool connection to have too. And I appreciate that a lot as well. Like that's really, really neat for me. But you creating some of the content you do, I appreciate it more than you know, and I don't think we always give you. I always want to feel like we always owe you praise, and you don't ever get it enough. And sometimes the fans do that for us, and sometimes they do it through the live streams or comments or whatever. But I want to say, from the crew, period, I appreciate everything you've done for us. And it becomes the beginning when you started to even now. You stayed so loyal to us throughout this whole process. No matter where we are on views, and in where we are on where we're at, and we've been from the lowest of lows and the highest of highs, and you're always there, and I appreciate that more than you know, and that you've always been dedicated to us. Not saying that you have to be, but you have been, so I appreciate that a lot, coming from an individual, especially with the way YouTube is now. And I feel like some YouTubers are finding out that the friends that they have, that they make YouTube videos with, or did make YouTube videos with, aren't the same people that they want to be friends with. And I consider you a friend, D1, and always somebody that I can always confide in, and you can confide in me when it comes to anything outside or inside of the YouTube game. So I do appreciate you again for everything that you do.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Does anybody have anything to add to anything tonight? Because we are at that hour mark, boys.
At the hour
mark.
I probably spoke for about 50 of those minutes. So.
No, that's the whole point. That's why we had you on. That's why this thing was the thing. But I appreciate you, D1, taking time out of your schedule. I know you're a busy man. I know you got DJing and other things to do, and you got a family at home that you have to tend to, and music that you need to be making on a daily basis. So that's always, something that I just appreciate you coming on in the first place. And I appreciate Sidearms and D20 being here, and I know G18's kind of listening here and there with this whole podcast too. But I appreciate you guys coming on for another week of the podcast. I will tell you now that next week podcast will be canceled. We'll push back because I'm going to be on vacation unless somebody wants to take it over. If Shadow wants to take it over, I don't know how he's going to upload it, but good luck. But
just give a giant shout out to good friend D4, who doesn't have the courtesy push back the podcast. One of his friends is watching his team.
We already talked about it. We already talked about it. Did y'all win?
Yeah,
we won.
2-0.
Heck yeah, man.
Now the only Predator with a chance to win is Bill Cosby. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Oh my god! So I didn't see Speedy and Shadow here, but they're here as well. So I appreciate all you guys. Thanks again for coming on the podcast again, D1, and we'll have you back soon. I promise. You'll be here. But great memories, and hopefully we'll have many, many more coming down the road. If you haven't checked out D1, definitely do that. Links will be at the top of the description for him. If you want to check out his music on iTunes, it is there as well. If you want to check out his YouTube channel, again, remember to subscribe to him. We're trying to get him to the 100K. And then, anything that your heart desires.
Check out his streams for sure.
Oh, the streams are the best.
Amazing.
They're the top of the top. They're way more classier than my crap. So, anyways, go by there, hang out, say something to him. He's very responsive, probably the most responsive person out of anybody I've seen. But, anyways, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks on the podcast in case something crazy happens. But thanks again, guys, and I'll see you guys later.